Welcome to Coach Development Live on the Best Hour of Their Day podcast. If you're a new or developing coach who wants to coach with confidence, get better on the floor, and make a real impact, you're in the right place. Every episode, you'll hear from Level 4 coaches Todd and me, Kristin Bowen, as we break down practical coaching tips, real-world strategies, and answer your biggest coaching questions live. No fluff, just the help you need to sharpen your skills and become the best coach you can be. Let's get started. All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
Katie.
Good morning.
So excited to have you here. Back for another episode of Coach Development Live. As you all can see, Todd is out today. And so I am taking the reins, and I have a pretty fantastic, if I do say so, guest with us today. We've got Katie Hayes, Level 4 CrossFit coach, longtime seminar staff member, affiliate owner, CrossFit Games judge. What am I missing, Katie?
Oh, I think that's plenty. That's good.
Plenty.
Yeah.
So Katie's going to be sitting in today. We're going to be talking about demonstration. We're going to be talking all things demonstration. I think it's an awesome topic to have you on, Katie. So we're going to talk a little bit about movement, but I also want to dig in more on what demonstration means outside of just the literal demonstrating the movement for your people. So kind of how we walk the walk in the gym, what that looks like, what it's looked like for you over the years, and maybe just some tips and tricks we can give to people as they're working on their different demonstrations and trying to figure out ways that they can better walk the walk for all their people. So lots of stuff today. And of course, as always, any questions or anything you have at all for Katie or about our conversation, put them in the chat. We love to see it. Omar, good morning. Good to have you here. Vicente is here. Yeah. Let's see. Todd looks a little different today. Much better looking.
Right?
Yeah, much better. So, Katie.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your background here so that everybody can get to know you a little bit. You and I have known each other for a very long time, since you started on seminar staff, which was when?
I started the internship process, or what's now called the candidate process, in the very beginning of 2013. And I think I knew you even a little bit right before that because of my sister and Chris, Chris and Russell, the Virginia Beach connection. So yeah. And then I earned my spot on seminar staff in August of 2013.
August of 2013. So we're coming up on 12 years now, right? Is that right?
Yeah. It's wild. I'm sure you feel the same way. Yeah, it's crazy.
So wild. Yeah. So I started just shortly before you. So I was like April. Oh, it's April now. It's literally probably to the day when I should look that up. The day you get that email where it's like, would you like to join the team?
Yes.
Like, you have no idea your life's about to change.
Totally.
Yeah, for sure. So, and we've worked many seminars together throughout the years. How many times have you judged at the CrossFit Games?
I think I judged 7 years.
Okay.
They were not consecutive. There was a couple that I missed and then got to jump back in. But I think the total was 7. And then I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to kind of switch roles the last couple years and work for the EDU team and their presentation at the CrossFit Games, and which is a totally different role, of course, than judging. And it's been amazing. It's been awesome. So lucky to have been a part of the games in some capacity for a while now.
Yeah. And tell everybody a little bit about what that entails, working with the EDU team.
Yeah, it's kind of evolved over the years. And so while it looks slightly different each year as we try to continue to make it better and more accessible for everybody, it's really just, it's a lot of activations in terms of movement clinics, lectures on different coaching topics. Last year we ran classes basically like every hour on the hour over in they called it the CrossFit Experience area, which was in Vanderbilt. Yeah. And it was super like high energy. Obviously last year was a little bit different in terms of, the energy of the games overall. But I mean, just slam packed with different clinics and things that people could sign up for all day long. And it's a whirlwind. It's like you get done with the day and you're like, I mean, you'd meet hundreds of people, and it's just, it's so awesome. It's such a cool opportunity. So I'm excited to see what it looks like this year. They're going to do it
So you are going back and you're going to have
again.
the same role this year at the
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So yeah, any of you guys listening, if you're planning on heading to New York this year for the games, you absolutely need to stop by the booth. Go see Katie. Sign up for one of her classes, level 4 level class. Yes.
Yeah. Do it.
Hopefully.
It's awesome. So fun.
And so I'll take this off the screen now. I want to leave it on here I could leave it for the whole call. Ladies on the screen. So refreshing. So refreshing. Don't pass all these messages on to Todd, you guys.
Yeah.
So great.
I've used to work with Todd all the time. I never get to see him anymore. So it's all in good fun. I feel like I
for sure.
like jab him a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So it's so good. Okay. So I wanted to ask you to give us a little bit of an insight because you are a new affiliate owner. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So you and Graham, your husband, have recently relocated. So tell us a little bit about where you are, what gym you now are the proud owner of.
Yeah. I could make this long, but I won't because we've been all over. But yes, we are new affiliate owners in Murphy, North Carolina. The gym is called CrossFit Murphy. And it's an amazing affiliate. It's been around a really long time. I think since 2010, maybe.
Yeah, and the indicator usually when the gym's been around for a really long time, if the name of the gym is the name of the city.
I know. When I've told people where we are, and they're like, "What's the name of the gym?" and I say it, and they're like, "Oh, I mean, how'd you get that off?"
Yeah, OG. Yeah,
very old school. Yeah. And so we had visited this gym in this area of North Carolina a couple of years ago when we were doing our cross-country trip in our RV, which was amazing. And we went to gyms all over the country. And this place always really stuck with us. It's a wonderful community. The previous owner has done an amazing job of building a great culture there. And we stayed in touch with her, and it was just something that organically happened in conversation. She was ready for a transition into a different phase of her life, and we were ready to be back in an affiliate as owners. We had owned a gym in Colorado for a few years prior, and we just kept itching to go back. Like this whole time we were in the RV, it just was kind of in the back of our minds that we wanted to do it again. But we wanted it to be the right fit. And so, cut to a few months ago when this all transpired, and here we are. We've been here for like a month. Yeah. So
putting roots in Western North Carolina. That's really exciting. After how long were you guys on the road traveling around in the RV?
Yep. We were on the road full time for 1.5 years.
Okay.
And then we settled in Montana, which was amazing in a lot of ways. I mean, it's beautiful out there, of course. But it just wasn't the right fit. We were certainly missing the connection piece of being in an affiliate full time. And so when this opportunity came up, we have family on the East Coast and friends on the East Coast. And so it just felt right. So we packed it up, hopefully for the last time in a while.
I love how you say hopefully for the last time in a while.
Yeah. I don't want to put too many restrictions on it.
Yeah. Even if you say the last time ever, there's no rule that you can't change your mind in 6 months.
Exactly.
But hopefully that won't be the case. Yeah.
Yeah. We're here. We're in it for the long haul, and we're super excited for the future of the gym and what we can do. And we're just kind of settling now and getting to know our members and building those relationships with them, and just being present in the gym all the time. Yeah.
And that's a really good segue actually to some of the things I wanted to talk to you about and ask you about. We're going to get into demonstrating our movement and just some actionable tips and things and stuff we've worked on over the years. But one of the huge pieces of demonstration goes beyond just literally grabbing a PVC pipe and showing your athletes how to do a squat, right? And it's all about the standard we set in the gym, the culture we create, and leading from the front. So talk to me a little bit about some of the things that are on you and Graham's mind being new affiliate owners in a very established gym, like walking in. What are some of the things that you guys are just thinking about as far as getting your feet in the door and just establishing kind of that standard and culture?
Yeah, that's a conversation that Graham and I have had a lot, even before we got here, in terms of it's really exciting, especially as people who've owned a gym in the past. And we learned so much from our experience in Colorado, both good and like, oof, let's not do it that way again, And so we go in really excited about all of these things that we want to do. And then as we discussed it, I think we're like, we just need people to get to know us and know who we are as leaders and coaches and humans. And so in terms of the demonstration, what's important to us is, being present in the gym, taking classes with our people, with our members. Like
I love that.
We're never doing our own thing. We're never working out by ourselves. We're in a class every day. Obviously not.
Wait, so you guys aren't in there in the corner doing your own programming by yourselves?
Crazy, right? Crazy how that sends very mixed messages on what's happening.
Yeah, that's so great.
No, we're
such a simple thing too, right? Like just
totally. And it's
so
like,
easy
it's so
to do.
refreshing. I want to go in and I want to warm up with the class. I want to be told, I want to be led from 0 to 60 minutes and just like shut my brain off and have a good time and work hard and suffer. And I think that the suffering piece is actually what I've picked up on that the members really appreciate, and suffering with our people, them seeing like, oh, these guys are in it just like we are, this is hard for them. They're scaling workouts to make sure that they hit the stimulus of what the coach is telling us. And the scaling the workouts thing has been like, it's mostly scaling and modifying right now as we get back into more regularly training. Because in Montana, we didn't have a CrossFit gym close by. So we were doing our own thing, which was fine, but it's like, it's not the same,
It's
never the same. And so the demonstration piece is leading from the front in terms of, kindness and how we want to approach people in the gym, asking questions, right? Asking questions about them, always asking another question, letting them get to know us and being vulnerable with our background and our story and why we're here. And then just getting in those classes, moving well, scaling well, talking about the best is like after the workout, we'll go on like a 100-meter cool down walk and everybody wants to talk about the workout and how bad it was or how they strategized, and being in those conversations with people. I think that's the first thing that comes to my head in terms of how we're demonstrating ourselves as not just CrossFit athletes, but leaders in the gym, and just leading from the front on those things.
Yeah. And it's like, there's literally no better way to become a part of the community than just to take the classes. Like everybody, it seems really straightforward and simple, but it always surprises me how many coaches don't regularly take classes. And, I'm sure you've been around, like do you even know how many gyms that you guys visited on your?
Yeah, we did count and it was like 42 or 43 or something. Cool. Like we were like, man, are we going to get to 50? It was close to 50, but not quite.
You've got to get to 50.
I know.
Does it count if you just like go maybe? Yes, I'd say it counts. Make your own rules, Katie.
Yeah,
it's gonna count. Yeah, did you get a shirt at every single gym?
Oh my God, no, because we lived in an RV and
I lived in an RV. It's like, I'll just take a picture of the shirt.
Yeah, all I have already are CrossFit shirts, and I'm like, they don't have any more room for t-shirts. Yeah, so but we did like a photo thing everywhere we went on our travels and made like these really cool frames of like our entire journey, like chronologically. So it's really cool. Yeah. Have those.
Now, with your experience going to that many gyms, I'm sure you saw a pretty wide variety of how the coaches just interact with their members and whether they took the classes or didn't. Were there some opportunities there that you were able to, I know you did a little bit of coaching development with a lot of the gyms that you visited. Were some of those things touched upon, or did you find that for the most part people are leaning in and leading from the front in the best way?
Yeah, I think for the most part, yes. And I think, people, number one, don't know what they don't know, just like I don't know what I don't know, right? And I think also when people, gym owners especially, and certainly coaches that are coaching in their affiliate all the time, they get used to being inside their four walls, seeing the same people a lot, and just sort of like they get on autopilot and don't take a step back of the 10,000 foot view of maybe like what that looks like. And so we did come in and for the people that wanted it, obviously we didn't just show up and start doing this, but For the people
Also probably not a good look, right? Where it's like, hey,
no,
we're here, we want to take
no,
a class, and we're also going to give you all the unsolicited feedback that you
totally.
didn't even
That's a terrible feeling, right? So
Yeah.
this was like people that reached out to us and were like, we'd love to have you guys come and like give our coaches feedback and just get different perspectives. And so I think for the most part, everybody's doing what they feel is the right thing in terms of member connection,
For
right?
sure.
There's,
Yeah.
we didn't run into anybody that was just like, yeah, like I don't have time for this, or like I don't want to talk to the members like I do my, like that just doesn't really exist inside.
No, because people that own CrossFit gyms generally care about the people and the members, and that you do it because you want to make people better. So there's always positive intent.
Correct. Yes. And the attention is always positive. And so, but sometimes I think people get so in their zone of whatever it is they're trying to, you know, stay on their timeline, remember their progressions, things like that, that sometimes just the human interaction piece and the demonstration in terms of leadership and what kind of person you are can sometimes get lost because you're in business mode or you're in serious mode, which those things are important. Don't get me wrong. But it's sometimes it's like, okay, so, hey, I watched you coach this class and I really kind of started observing 15 minutes before the class started and people are starting to show up and I'm kind of watching you over in the corner, like on your phone or like reviewing your notes for the class or things like that. And the members are just kind of interacting with each other. But then it's like, once the class starts, then you're on. I'm like, something we could strive to do is that 15-minute mark. When people start showing up, put your notes away, put your things away. You should already, if you don't know it by then, you're not going to know it in 15 minutes.
That's old Joe Alexander. Right. I remember him. You're looking at her notes for a lecture right before the lecture, and he'd walk up and he'd be like, "Hey, if you don't know it now, you're not going to know it.
Well, let's just relax." Yeah,
100%.
Put your phone away, greet people by name, look them in the eye, make or ask a question, make a connection with someone, and set the tone for the class and just the energy in the gym that way. Like, we got to remember, people are coming here because it's like, I mean, hopefully, obviously, you guys know, like, it needs to be their best hour. They're stressed out from work. They're stressed out from home life. They want 1 hour to themselves to just feel good. And I think that starts with us and setting that tone. And so there was some of those conversations in terms of like, let's find out who you are as a person and let's be more of the bigger you, from the moment people walk in the door. It starts right away. And I think that stuff, even if the coach never knows what an impact those conversations make, they're big. And people remember that. When I took my level 1, I got to be honest, I didn't remember a lot of the content like after the weekend was done. Yeah. But I remembered the conversations I had with the trainers and they were so impactful. And it's like, they didn't have to come up and chat with me during the lunch break, but they did. And so when I think demo beyond just the movements, it's like that stuff is so impactful and packs a punch, I think, for folks.
Yeah, I love that. I just love the idea of figuring out who you are, making yourself a bigger you. We obviously talk about that a lot with presence and attitude, but everything that you just said is such a great example of how all of these criteria we want in coaching, right? Teaching, seeing, presence and attitude, group management, demonstration. There's such crossover between all of them, and if you look at them in isolation, you're doing yourself a disservice because it's like, we don't need to necessarily categorize everything we do so to the, to the letter. But the fact that it's like, the being a bigger you, saying hi to people, creating the vibe that you want to create in the gym that starts 15 minutes before, that is demonstration. You're demonstrating like how the culture works at your gym, and people will follow it. And and you're absolutely right about the way that you make people feel is truly what people walk away with.
I just think how many people, and I'll ask you, like, how many people in your experience show up to the gym because they just like want to hang out with their friends and they want to chit chat, they want to have fun. And then they get the workout like as a byproduct of that. Like, they get fitness because they showed up, but they're like, I'm just here to hang out.
Oh yeah. And and then we can roll that right into the group management conversation, right? It's the 9 a.m. class. Every time it's like, do you guys even want to work out? And
it's always
I can tell them, hey, we're not going to work out today. We're just going to walk we're just going to walk around the building for an hour. Everyone would be like, perfect.
They would love it. They would totally love it.
Yeah,
but it's like
absolutely.
we can build that culture of like, this is a fun place. It's a safe space. We are going to work hard. We are going to get down to business, but we can also overlay ourselves, our personalities, like what we have to offer as not just a coach, but like a person on a personal connection level.
And it totally trickles down to how we want all of our athletes to act towards each other. And when, somebody new walks in the gym, if we're sitting, I think the visual of that was so perfect, where you're like 15 minutes before class starts, the intention isn't bad, but it's just like, okay, I've got 15 minutes before I've got to turn that on button on. Yeah. So I'm just going to look at my lesson plan. I'm going to catch up on my phone. I'm going to do all that. And then you've got people walking in, maybe a new person walking in, maybe somebody walking in that doesn't really know everyone that well. And instead of being over there facilitating conversation and, getting to know people a little bit, it just, you're leaving something out on the table. So and Amanda says here, seeing the friendships build in the gym is rewarding 100%, especially if you're the one that's, oh, so-and-so is a teacher. Yeah. They just got finished their spring break. When's your spring break? Yeah. And then you're just like a matchmaker for friends. It's
so like Amanda said, it's like, and a lot of these people, at least in our gyms, and I think this is common, people who become friends, make these lifelong friendships, and they likely would not have otherwise, like because their jobs are so different, or their lifestyles are so different, or like this person's 55 and this person's 31, and it's like, oh, I don't know if we would have met otherwise, but like we're such good friends now. And that to me is like super special about a CrossFit affiliate too.
Oh, 100%. My mom, she's 72, and now some of her good friends at the gym are like 40 and 37. Yeah. And I just love it. I love it so much. It's so cool. Yeah. And I'd be curious, we're talking, obviously a lot about just the interacting with their members and kind of guiding them there, taking the classes with them. But I'd be curious, those of you that are here listening, what some ways that you guys think of when you think of demonstration and setting a standard and kind of leading from the front. Like, what are some other things that you can think of that are important to do other than that literal demonstration of the movement? Are there any other things that pop up to your mind, Katie? I can think of a couple.
Yeah, I mean, something I was thinking about the last couple of days as I was thinking about this call was also the demonstration piece of like, you don't always have to like be perfect and have it all together. You know what I mean? And that could mean in a workout, it could mean with nutrition, it could mean a number of different things. But knowing, being a coach or being a gym owner doesn't mean that you have to be perfect 100% of the time, because that's not, I don't know if it's attainable, but it's certainly not sustainable, right? So it's okay if I have a bad workout, or I'm frustrated, or maybe there's something going on outside of the gym, like in my personal life, that affects how I feel in the workout, and I'm frustrated. And it's like, I think that's okay. But what's more important is, how do people see you react to that and handle it and like move forward from it?
Yeah.
Right. Am I throwing a fit and walking out of the gym or whatever? Even if I want to, I'm not doing that. I'm pushing through, and I'm saying like, man, that was a really hard day. I just was not in it today, and I'm not super happy with my effort today, but like, it's okay. It's just a day, and I'm going to take a deep breath, and I'm going to try, and we're going to come back tomorrow, and hopefully tomorrow's a better day. Like admitting those things with nutrition, right? Like, man, I really had a hard time over the holidays. I had a plan going in, and my family was really stressing me out. And so that's probably real for a lot of people. But
yeah, I was going to say, I don't think anyone can relate to your family stressing you out over the holidays. It's so unrelatable.
So it's like, I didn't stick to my plan. And so, I'm not feeling the best coming into the new year, but here's what I'm going to do to move forward. I'm going to get back to tracking my protein. And I think that's going to help, get the momentum going. So seeing how it's like, hey, it's okay. These things are hard for me too. And I didn't hit the mark, but here's how I'm going to handle that and move forward. I think that can be an important part of demonstration.
100%. And I would argue that makes your impact, like that makes it even more impactful, right? Because now you're relatable. Now somebody can potentially feel more safe and comfortable talking to you, because even though we know that our role as coaches is to help people and meet them wherever they are in their journey. And so we know that we're not judging people that are coming to us with like their challenges, their problems, but they can feel like it if they're walking up and it's like, man, Katie has all of her stuff together, and I'm going to have to tell her how I just completely crap the bed over the holidays with my nutrition. And she's going to be like, I can't believe we had this plan and I worked really hard on the plan with you and you completely, and it's like, that's not realistic. It's not real life.
Totally. Right. But their perception is real for them. And so it's like you said, we know we won't do that. They don't necessarily know that right away until we start to talk about like, oh, I've been there. Like I totally, this is hard. Like, let's talk through it. Yeah.
And it's an interesting conversation to have and to think about, because we think, walk the walk, doing the demonstration beyond movement, right? Setting the standard. And it's a fine line to balance, right? Because it's like, we want to be able to show them, here's the gold star, here's the standard, here's what we want. But at the same time, also toe that line, but we're also human and we mess up and we struggle too. And I think Amit mentioned in the chat about being vulnerable. And that's the exact word that when you were talking about, it's like just having a little vulnerability and just relating to people a bit, right? Means being vulnerable and how something didn't work out the way you envisioned and how you dealt with it. So yeah, I love it. Couple other really good things up here too. Chris says, if you're eating at the gym, make sure it's what we preach. What do you think?
I mean, I think that's huge. And I think part of me is like, that should be common sense. I feel like, but it like for coaches, I think it should be, and it's like, does that mean you have to have a perfectly zoned out or macroed out meal every time you eat in the gym? No, but like, if you're showing up with McDonald's or donuts or whatever every day, and that's just what people see and that's normal, what kind of message does that send?
Right.
So I do think that's important. And it again, it's like, but then we throw the parties like after the events or the challenges that have like all the fun junk food. And it's like, so there is that line, right? It's like, hey, you can be human and have the donut or do the thing. But what's the norm? What are people seeing? Overall trend of what you're eating in the gym or how you're treating people or how you attack your workouts, those types of things, like overall trends, I think. But I do think
consistency. Yeah, for sure. I love this, what Amanda said when taking this. Oh man, I cannot agree with this more. When taking the class as an athlete, actually listening to the coaches and doing what everyone else is doing.
This is such a good one. Good job, Amanda.
Yeah, good job. Talk about leading from the front and demonstrating what we want to see our athletes do. Like, if we're struggling with athletes that are not scaling the way that they should, or they're not coachable, and we aren't scaling the way that we should, and we're not coachable, you can't really be that surprised that there's other people in the gym that are pushing back on things like that.
Yeah.
Have you ever, Katie, taken a class and had the coach? I mean, I have to be honest, the coaches don't try to offer me scales very often. And that's not because every workout I should be doing RX. I think it's because they make an assumption that I'm good, and it's like, they're going to like deal with the other people over here. And they're like, you good? What do you good? And I could literally change the workout however I wanted in a way that does not make sense at all. And they'd probably still be like, okay.
Yeah.
So I try to, well, what do you think? Here's what I'm thinking. What do you think? And just kind of try to involve the coach in the conversation a little bit.
That's exactly what I do. And I think especially now that we're the owners of this gym, but we're still new to the community. And so same thing, like I as I'm getting to know people, sometimes the coaches will just assume that like, hey, she's going to do whatever and she's got it figured out. But I want it to be a conversation between coach and athlete, whether it's me or it's a member. It should always be a conversation. And so that's what I do too. I said, hey, I heard you talk about the scaling options today for toes to bar. Like, I was thinking I really want to practice some toes to bar, but I was thinking like, I'll do half toes to bar and then I'll switch to V-ups for the other half of my reps. Like, what do you think about that? And they're like, oh yeah, that's great. That's a good idea. So always, putting myself in the member or athlete position, like put my athlete hat on. How do I want my athletes to interact with the coaches? And I need to do the same thing, right? And same thing in the warm-ups or in the teaching portions of the class. It's easy to want to chit chat with people, chit chat with the members, like people haven't seen in a while. And I'll do that. But if the coach is trying to explain something, right, I'm like, I'll like nudge whoever and I'll be like, let's pause for a second. Let's see what they have to say, whatever, like we're going to stop talking. We're going to listen to the coach, because it's such a pet peeve of mine.
Me too. And I don't want to go down a crazy rabbit hole, but I could talk about this for 5 minutes.
Yeah, but it's hard. And in my classes, like if I've got people chit-chatting to a point where it's distracting for when I'm trying to present some information, I'll call them out and be like, hey guys, give me 90 seconds and then you can keep chatting or whatever. Because it's such a pet peeve. And if it's my coach is doing it, or if I'm doing that, people are going to think that's okay.
Yeah.
They're always watching. And so it's, again, setting that culture from the top of like, it's anything we ask our athletes to do or expect of them is also expected of us if you're in a class 100% of the time.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And even so many examples that we're talking about all can go back to simply taking the class, like taking the class with your members. And there's so many little nuances and things that go down within that class that are opportunities for us to set a standard and show our people what we expect from them simply by just doing the thing that we want them to do. It's pretty crazy how simple it actually is to create. I mean, it takes time and consistency, obviously, but to create kind of that culture that we're looking for really is not a super complicated thing to do. It just takes some awareness and consistency.
I think consistency and time is like what you're talking about. Like, it's hard anytime you need to sort of like make a shift in culture or something like that. Like it doesn't happen quickly. I mean, change within an affiliate, within a CrossFit gym is scary. People, like even us coming into this new gym, like it's scary for people. They don't know us yet. And they're like, what's going to happen? Is everything going to change? And it's like, nope, we're just going to keep showing up, leading by example, doing the things that we want to see our people doing. And like, let that be enough for right now to just build and create that culture, which is already there at this gym. So we're really lucky. But you're totally right.
Now, how about this one? Because this is also one of the things that fall under my pet peeves and something that I really feel strongly about: not putting weights away before everyone is done with the workout, cheering them on instead. What are your thoughts on that, Katie?
100% agree. Yeah. And it's because it's just the respect and the message of like, we're all in this together, no matter when you finish the workout, like no one's done till everyone's done type of thing. And having those people, not everyone loves everyone over top of you as you're finishing your burpees or whatever, like, but just being there and feeling like, oh, everybody's, if you're the person that's like, everybody's done and just moving on, and here I am still working, like that's kind of a crappy feeling, So it's something that if it happens in my class, what I don't want to do is like turn the music down and yell and be like, don't put your weights away, and like create kind of a moment of,
it almost amplifies it even more.
It almost brings it to attention more. But I will just go over to that person and be like, hey, just leave it for now. It's all good. We'll have time to clean up. Like, let's just hang tight until everyone's done and just have those conversations individually. To try to, again, create that habit of like, hey, when I'm done, I'm going to find somebody else who's still working and hang out with them and support them until everybody's done.
Yeah. So that's a great call out there, Becky. And then Matt, also good to see you. Matt is, amen. No one should be cleaning up until everyone is done. And not everybody knows that. So it's something that, we need to do exactly like you just said. Like, you're going to walk over to somebody, hey, just wait till everybody's finished. No big deal. And quite honestly, if I screw up, timeline wise, and we're running a little late, and I respect people need to get out of there. And if someone's still going, it's like, hey, that's my bad. So I'll tell them, like, I'll get your stuff. If you need to leave, go ahead, take off, and I will put your stuff away.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, no big deal. And to your point, I think it's important to talk about really quickly. Not everybody does like people circled around them doing their last set of burpees with them and the whole entire class. I mean, I have talked about my mom a second ago. That is like her worst nightmare for that to happen. Like, she sets up all of her stuff in the very back corner. And yeah, exactly. So we, read the room. Yeah. But at the same time, maybe that means you're just sitting, talking to your neighbor and doing some light stretching, or you're just kind of hanging out and chatting with each other and talking about what went down, and then walking around a little bit, getting your heart rate down. And then when everyone's done, even if it wasn't a big cheer fest at the end, then it's like, all right, cool, everybody's done. And then to call back to, I think Amanda said the walk at the end of the workout, like you mentioned, is clutch. Like, I love the walk at the end of the workout.
Yep. Everybody, I do too. Honestly, I'm like, maybe it's because our weather here right now is just so nice, but I'm like, at the end, when I get close to the end of the workout, I'm like, I just want to get this over with so I can just go outside and like take a deep breath and whatever. People love it, and they love to recap what just happened. And that's part of building community too. And I get in on those conversations as well. So yeah, the walk is awesome.
We've got a couple of questions in the chat I'm going to get to, but first, shout out to Nick.
Hi, Nick.
Ingram came to your gym.
I think, right?
Yeah, this is Tullahoma. Like, yeah, so we got Nick from Tullahoma. Yeah, really cool. So
hi, Nick.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's just so fun. Like, how many gyms you were able to go visit. I bet it was just a blast.
It was wild, and like, not always easy. The gym stuff was great. That was never the stressful part. The RV stuff was what got
probably getting to the gyms and like walking in. I mean, that's the cool thing about CrossFit, right? It's like you've got these home bases no matter where you go. And
it was amazing. People were so welcoming. Yeah.
There was one thing I wanted to highlight here. Yeah, because I love this from Lita. Demonstrating how to work through an injury. Personally, have struggled with injuries and have scaled and demoed how to keep showing up. I think that's super important, because we talk to our athletes. Again, it all comes back to, what are we saying, and are our actions matching up with what we're saying?
Are we following through on
those? And if there's a disconnect there, that's when you need to take a step back and look and be like, okay, which one of these do I believe? Do I believe the words I'm saying, or do I believe my actions? Because I can tell you what, you can talk till you're blue in the face, but your members are probably going to put more weight on your actions than the things that you're saying. 100%. And this is a great example. We get injured just like everybody else. And if we have an injury, are we still working hard to rehab? Are we warming up properly? Are we coming in and scaling the way that we should? Still taking the classes just like we're asking our members to, or are we just disappearing for 3 months and not doing any workout because it's like, well, my shoulder hurts.
Or going back to the like, well, I can't do this workout RX, or I can't do it as it's written, so I'm just going to go over here and do my own thing.
Like, I'm going to start following different programming. I'm going to just go over here. Yeah. It's a slippery slope.
Totally. But my husband had a knee injury for a while, and it was like, he's a good example of like, he shows up to every class. And sometimes the workout looks very different depending on what it is, but he's in the class and still trying to make it work. And I think it's important for people to see that. They're like, oh, okay. I mean, that's cool. Like, you don't have to box jump today. We're going to do something different, and that's okay. Like, oh, the coach is doing step ups. That's crazy. It's like, good. That's all I got today. Yeah.
I remember once, this is not recently because everyone's used to me scaling now, but several years ago, I just will never forget. I changed a movement. I don't even know what it was. I think I was doing box handstand push-ups, like feet elevated on the box, just like that, versus up on the wall. And I will never forget, a couple people were like, "You're scaling?" Like, they could not believe it. Right. And it's like, yeah, I'm scaling because I don't want to flip upside down on the wall, and handstand push-ups aren't my jam, and I'm not going to be able to get the amount done in the time that they're supposed to be done. I mean, there's like 17 reasons why, but it was such a good reminder that there's assumptions made by the members, and unless they see us doing certain things, they're just going to think like, oh, well, Kristin never scales.
Totally.
Yeah. Let's see. There was a question here by Vicente. And this is great, especially because you and Graham right now are like full on, starting to take all the classes you can to know the members a little bit more, to create relationships, good relationships with the coaches that are already there. So thoughts on coaching other class members when taking the class. And to be clear on the question, I'm thinking that we're meaning you're taking the class, you're not coaching. Are you going to be coaching other people during your time taking the class? That's $1 million question, right?
Yeah. I'm glad you brought this one up. This is a good one. And it's something that we actually, as we have meetings with the staff that we inherited from this gym, who are all wonderful. This is a big one that we've talked about in terms of, again, it's like Graham and I are just so excited to be in the gym and be coaching again. And so the tendency is to, especially if it's in a big class, right? Like there's 15 to 20 people in the class and we want to like jump in and help. But there is a line of like the coach who's in charge of this class, they take ownership of that class. And it's a respect thing in terms of, hey, I'm here as an athlete and I'm going to do what the coach tells me to do. And so it's tricky because what I don't want is for a member to come up to me, like maybe they see that the coach is busy doing something else. So they come up to me and I'm just taking the class and they're like, hey, how do you think I should scale this? Now I have an answer that I'm like, well, this is how I would do it. If it's appropriate, I'll say, you know what? I have a couple ideas, but let's check with Kayla and see if she has something in mind. And I bet we're on the same page, but let's just make sure that she sets you up with what she thinks is best or whatever the conversation is. And then I will walk over to the coach with the athlete and be like, hey, here's what Nikki was thinking about, like Kayla, I'll let her handle it or whatever. We try to do that, to let the coaches take ownership in their class. It's their time. Now, if it's, we had a class the other day, it was like 23 people or something. And it's we always try to put a secondary coach in those big classes. There's a primary and a secondary coach.
Which is a luxury not a lot of gyms have. So
I totally really recognize that.
Yeah.
It's lucky because Graham and I are, between the two of us, I mean, we're basically, I go from working from home and the gym, Graham's at the gym all day. So like one of us can always be available to be a secondary. And that person's job should be to help with things like that. Like the primary coach is running logistics, making sure everything runs on time, their big picture. Secondary coach can kind of pop around and help. So it's like, it's tricky. I think that if you can always take it back to who the coach is and let them be the one to have the authority in that class, that's great. If things are busy and it's hectic and you feel like in that moment you can be helpful by helping this person with a quick answer of like, hey, we're scaling to jumping pull-ups today. So you can go ahead and grab your box or your bar or whatever. I don't know. I mean, what do you think? I think it can be helpful in scenarios, but I think overall it's like, I want to encourage people to go to the coach, because it's their class.
Yeah. And I absolutely agree. It's an interesting line, but I try to just be mindful of, okay, am I potentially stepping on this coach's toes? Right. Am I potentially giving different information than what they've already gotten?
Which is such a bad look, right? Like,
yeah,
that's what you want to do. Yeah.
Right. Because now it's kind of taking credibility away from the coach. And look, a lot of the times the questions on scaling, like, should I do this or should I do this? And there's often not a right and wrong way to scale. It's just like, it's such a gray area many times. So maybe one workout you're going to scale with this option, and the next workout you're going to scale with this option, and neither are wrong. That in fact, we want to do that.
Vary those things up. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't want the athlete to get a scaling option from the coach and then come over to me and just basically ask for a second opinion and then me give a different thing than the coach just gave. However, if it's more of like group management or safety thing that I feel I'm offering an assist, then I'll try to help where I can, right? Where people are kind of like looking around, you know, where people go grab their barbells and they're just kind of moving around in that with the bar everywhere. I'm like, put your bar there. Yeah. Or people will be like, what are we doing now? I'm like, we're getting bands and then we're all going to stand. So I'll just kind of, and again, it comes back to listening to the coach, doing what they're asking you to do, following along, not talking when they're talking, so that when those situations arise, I can offer the assist and people are chatting and not really sure where to go. Then I can be exactly where I'm supposed to go. First one, like that's always the goal. If they're like, go do this, this, and this, and then be here, you have 30 seconds. I am there in 20 seconds. Yeah. So I absolutely agree with you. And there's some comments in the chat for Vicente, just chatting about, let's see what Amit says here. He doesn't do it unless it's a big class and see the coach is struggling and ask for your help. It's their call. Absolutely. And then follow-up question is more on how do you address it as a coach in the moment. So Vicente, are you asking, do you understand the question, Katie? How are you interpreting it?
I'm interpreting it as if you're the coach that's scheduled, you're coaching the class and you see one of your coaching members kind of on the side.
Okay.
How do you address that?
Yeah, let's roll with that.
Okay. That's how I interpret it. And if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. I don't think I would make a big address of it like in front. I don't want anything to feel uncomfortable or whatever in the class in the moment. I would probably, if I could, walk over and just sort of stand and like listen to the conversation and try to very organically and respectfully like be there to just sort of hear what's going on. And then likely I'll be like, yeah, that sounds good. You know, just what she said, that sounds good, whatever. But then I may, if it's appropriate, just sort of pull the coach to the side and be like, hey, you know, it's if you've got stuff like that, just come to me. Like I can handle it for right now. Or maybe I just wait till after the class to address it. Yeah. Because I really don't want to create any sort of weird ripples or waves that will affect the experience for the members. So that's probably an offline conversation after the class. But I certainly will, you know, try to make my way over there and just sort of listen in. And it's like, if you trust your coaches, hopefully you're like, okay, well, they're not setting them up for failure.
Right. There's a couple of different avenues we could take here where it's like, A, do you trust your coach that whatever they're doing is likely okay? Yeah. Right. But B, it's like, no, now I need to have to go and like establish dominance. Like, I am the one coaching this class. No, I like that so much where it more than likely it's an after class conversation. You know, Todd and I talk a lot about, we're both big Brene Brown fans, and one of her things, her mantra is clear is kind. And if
I've heard you both say that many times.
It is. I mean, just my journey becoming a flow master on seminar staff and having to deliver feedback to your friends and your peers and people that all sorts of, it's just helped me so much. Clear is kind, clear is kind. And
it's so true. I mean, when you're on the receiving end of that clear feedback, it really is true. Yeah.
Because again, at the end of the day, what is the intent of the coach that's taking the class but offering coaching when they maybe shouldn't be? It's positive. They're trying to help somebody, you know? And so if they're stepping on your toes, or that's not the way that you want the class to go, because the lead coach needs to be the lead coach, and you know it's causing some ripples or some problems, then we just need to have a conversation with the coach in a kind way and let them know. And more than likely the result is probably going to be them being like, oh, I'm so sorry.
We're like, oh,
I didn't help. You looked busy. I didn't even realize.
I was just kind of doing it naturally because I am used to coaching, and like, my bad.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all about what is good for you at your gym, I think. I also am of the, I believe that when you're a coach at the gym, even when you're taking classes, first and foremost, you're still a coach. And so if you're taking a class and it's a huge class and the lead coach is struggling, then I'm going to walk up to the lead coach and be like, hey, I'll walk around and help get people scaled and everything. Is that cool? Or do you want me to whatever, fill in the blank? I'm probably not just going to go rogue and start doing stuff on my own. I'm going to check in with the coach, but I'm always okay with letting my workout be secondary for a minute if the coach needs support or if people need help. Yeah.
That's a big one. Like, and we, like, again, we're new here in this affiliate, but like in our old affiliate, we had built that culture of like, you know, if it's a big class and you don't get your favorite pull-up bar or whatever, like that's you got to give that to the member. If there's limited space, hey, I'm going to go over here, or I'm going to do something different. I'll do ring rows today, and say you can have this pull-up bar, no problem. That's what it's about. It's about the members, and
for sure. And it's another way that we're just showing, again, it all comes back to the same thing, right? It's like we're creating this culture, and it's leading from the front. And whether we realize it or not, these are small, tiny things. I'm always, people are going and they're choosing their dumbbells that they want. Well, we have limited weights for dumbbells. So
hang back.
Cool. Yeah, hang back. You go ahead and get yours. And everybody's always so, they want to defer to you. Like, go, you can go. I'm just going to scale. I'm like, I'm scaling too. Go ahead, get your. There was a workout I did a few months ago. There were literally no more dumbbells left. I probably wanted to use maybe 30s or something. The only ones, it's like, all right, I'm either going to use 45s or 15s. So which one do you think I chose?
15s.
I chose the 15s, and I just went faster, and it was so hard. Like, okay, I'm going to use the 15s, but I could have gone really quickly and grabbed the exact dumbbells I wanted, but no, it's like you guys, grab something else. And then what that shows is, look, I'm scaling down more than maybe I wanted to. I'm going lighter than I wanted to, but I still am getting a really good workout, and arguably maybe even a worse, harder workout.
Yeah.
And we can't underestimate those tiny little things that we do. And people, looking over, be like, you're only using 15s. And then by the end, I'm crushed because I just was going, and they'll be like, you were going so fast. I'm like, yeah, because I used lighter weight. So I'm like, I better move fast. And people remember that stuff. And it's certainly a trickle effect here. Matt, I think, had another question here. As a coach taking a class, what might you do if you feel the coach is incorrectly presenting the stimulus of the workout? So you're taking the class, the coach is presenting the whiteboard, and this is also tricky if you're it's tricky if you're a coach at the gym. It's also tricky if you're the affiliate owner, and it's a little kind of two different different paths. I certainly am not going to interrupt the coach during the whiteboard brief.
I'm not either.
Yeah.
And guess what? I've done that before. I've been the person, and it was either like, did I just cut out, or you can hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, great. I've done that before where I've interrupted. It was probably either my husband or like my sister I felt overly comfortable with.
Yeah.
That I just was like, oh, don't you mean, da, 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 da. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, I can play it off as it's funny or whatever, but I'm calling them out, and it's not okay. It's like, that makes it look like we don't have each other's back and we're not, a team or whatever. So if that happened to me, I would let them finish the whiteboard brief and let them do their thing. And find a time to, during a transition or something, probably have a quiet conversation just real quick and be like, hey, remember in the coach's notes, the stimulus was 8 to 10 minutes. Like, maybe just at some point before we start the workout, maybe like after the bathroom break, maybe just call everyone in and revisit and be like, hey guys, actually what we're looking for is this. No, members don't know if you mess up, right? Like, it's okay if you mess that up, and just, hey guys, actually, I think I missed the mark on this one. Like, here's what I actually want you to shoot for. And then if it's, if it becomes combative or something with the coach and they're like, well, no, I don't think that's right. Then again, that's a conversation for another time of like, what's the bigger issue? Yeah.
And I love Amit is very similar, right? Like, nothing in the moment, like, don't interrupt the whiteboard brief, but just chatting with them after. And look, at the end of the day, is it really gonna ruin anything if they get told a stimulus that's not the stimulus that we wanted? Obviously, if that's happening over and over again, and they're not reading the coach's notes, or their coach's notes aren't provided, and then they're constantly getting the stimulus wrong, of course that's not something that we want. But one time,
right.
like one class, if we're like, all right, we're looking for about 12 to 15 minutes. And you're like, it's actually supposed to be 10 to 12 minutes. Like, it'll be okay.
Right.
Yeah, it'll be okay. Yeah. I think this is a great way to wrap things up. Huge demonstrations there, being kind to others and not taking yourself too seriously. What do you think?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think yes. I think there's a difference between working hard and showing that you're there, when the workout starts, like, I'm going to grind with you guys. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to suffer and I'm going to do my best. And that's different than like not taking yourself too seriously. Right. Everybody has different goals and things like that. And it's at the end of the day, as leaders in the gym, you got to come back to like, what's the goal here? Like, are we sending everybody to the CrossFit Games? Likely not, right? We want everyone to have fun, have a good workout. And at the end of the day, it's just exercise, right? Like truly, it's amazing and it's life altering. I know that. I've been there. I've experienced it. But at the end of the day, I want to be able to show up the next day and the next day and the next day. And like, I want to be able to enjoy other things in my life. I want to have other hobbies and other things that excite me other than the workout of the day. And so, yeah, I 100% agree. It's like, I'm going to work hard. I'm going to work my butt off, but like, also I'm just here to survive the day and like, feel better when I leave than when I showed up. And so, yeah, I think that comment is great from Nick.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So, well, Katie, thank you so much for being here. This was so fun. I'd like to call back to one of our...
If you want to kick Todd out any other time, just let me know.
First comments from Amanda. So refreshing. Yeah.
Love it.
We would love to have you back. So hopefully we can make that happen at some point.
Anytime.
But that was super fun. It was so great to see you and so great to hang out with you. And those of you guys watching, as always, if you want any more information about coaching, you want to get on live coaching calls with a group of affiliate owners and coaches of all different levels, learn more about movement, learn more about all the things we've been talking about, you can join the Knowledge Pro. We've got a couple calls a week, lessons every week, homework, and it's a really great opportunity to level up your coaching. And we've got a great special right now. If you are an affiliate owner and you're interested in joining the Best Hour of Their Day Affiliate University cohort, we're doing a 14-day free trial. So go to besthouroftheirday.com. You can find information about the Knowledge Pro. You can also find information about that free trial. And we will be back next week. Todd and I will be back next week. We're going to dive into seeing movement. And we're actually going to start talking about looking at movement setups, looking at finish positions, and some strategies that we can set our athletes up for success with seeing those positions. But until then, thank you guys for being here, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, Katie.
Thanks, Kristin.
Thank you for checking out this episode of the Best Hour of Their Day podcast. Now, if you're a coach who wants to coach more effectively, impact your members, and advance your career, then the Knowledge Pro is the next step. Inside, you'll get hundreds of coaching videos, weekly calls with level 4 coaches, and direct feedback on your coaching. From homework reviews to full class breakdowns, we do it all. This is the best way to grow as a coach and take your skills to the next level. Now you can join the Knowledge Pro at besthouroftheirday.com/the-knowledge. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen. Now keep coaching, keep improving, and we'll see you next time.